I never met my mother. She died the moment I was born. Her life exchanged for mine like some cruel cosmic bargain nobody asked for. Growing up, that fact followed me like a shadow I could never escape. But my father never let me feel like a burden. To him, I wasn't the girl who killed his wife. I was the last piece of her he had left. And he loved me with a kind of fierce devotion that made people uncomfortable. He used to say it all the time.
You didn't take her from me. You saved me, because without you, I'd have nothing.
I believed him, until the day he remarried. Her name was Celeste. And from the very first moment she saw me, I knew she hated me. Not the casual dislike of a strict stepmother. No, it was deeper. Colder. Something ugly lived in her eyes whenever she looked at me. I didn't understand why at first. But years later, I overheard the truth during one of their late-night arguments.
You love her more than you love me.
She's my daughter.
And I can't even give you a child. You remind me of that every day with her presence.
That's when I learned she was infertile. And in her mind, I was the living reminder of everything she could never be. A mother. From that day on, her resentment turned into open cruelty. She never hit me. She was smarter than that. Her torture was psychological, subtle, calculated. She'd throw away my favorite clothes, accidentally burn my school projects, tell relatives I was a spoiled liar, and whisper poison into my ears when Dad wasn't around.
You know he only keeps you because he feels guilty. If your mother hadn't died, you wouldn't even exist. You destroyed his life.
I would cry silently at night. But I never told Dad, because he looked so happy when she pretended to be loving in front of him. I didn't want to ruin that. Then everything changed the day he died. It happened suddenly. A heart attack. One moment he was laughing at a TV show. The next, he collapsed onto the floor. I remember screaming his name while shaking his shoulders. But his eyes never opened again. At the funeral, Celeste cried loudly, too loudly, like she was performing. And when the will was read, her crying stopped immediately. Because Dad had left everything. To me. The house, his savings, his investments, every single thing. Her face turned pale as the lawyer finished speaking.
This is a mistake.
No, ma'am. Your husband was very clear.
She looked at me like she wanted to stab me with her eyes. That day, I realized something terrifying. Without my father, there was nothing stopping her hatred anymore. I moved out as soon as I turned 18. I wanted distance, peace, a chance to build a life away from her shadow, and eventually, I did. I fell in love, got married, and had a beautiful baby girl named Lila. Holding my daughter for the first time felt like healing a wound I'd carried my entire life. I whispered to her, I promise you'll never feel unloved, not even for 1 second. For years, things were peaceful. Everything changed after my husband died. His death was sudden, a brutal accident that ripped him out of our lives without warning. One moment we were planning Lila's birthday, and the next I was standing in a hospital hallway being told he was gone. The grief crushed me. It wasn't just emotional. It felt like my body itself was shutting down from the shock. At first, it was constant exhaustion. No matter how much I slept, I felt drained, like all the strength had been sucked out of me. Then came the dizziness. I would stand up and the room would spin violently. Sometimes I'd black out for a few seconds without warning. Soon, even simple tasks became impossible. I couldn't cook, I couldn't clean. Some days I couldn't even get out of bed to hug my daughter. My heart felt heavy all the time, as if grief had settled inside my chest like a stone. Then one morning, while trying to walk to the kitchen, my vision went dark. The next thing I knew, I was waking up under bright hospital lights, with machines beeping around me. I had collapsed completely. The doctors didn't hesitate. They admitted me immediately, saying my body was severely weakened from stress, exhaustion, and untreated illness. Grief hadn't just broken my heart. It had nearly broken my body, too. And that's when she came back into my life. Celeste. She showed up at the hospital with a fake, worried expression.
You shouldn't face this alone. I'll take care of your daughter.
I was too weak to argue, too desperate to believe she might have changed. So I trusted her. Worst mistake of my life. Because the moment I was bedridden, she turned into a monster again. Later, neighbors would call and tell me everything. She screamed at Lila constantly, called her names, refused to feed her properly, and worst of all, she mocked her for loving me. Celeste would sneer,
Your mother is weak, just like the woman who died giving birth to her. You come from a line of useless women.
Lila was only 6. She would cry every night. The neighbors heard everything, and one day, one of them confronted Celeste.
We're reporting you if this continues.
That's when something snapped inside her. If she couldn't have a child, she would take one. Mine. The next thing that happened still gives me chills. One morning, while I was recovering at the hospital where I had been staying, I received a call from an unknown number. It was a police officer.
Ma'am, are you the mother of Lila Thompson?
My heart stopped. Yes! Where is she?
She's safe. She came to us at the airport.
Airport. The word made my knees buckle. Then he explained everything. Celeste had sold my house secretly while I was still at the hospitalized, drained my accounts, packed huge suitcases full of cash, and bought a one-way ticket to a distant country in Malaysia. She planned to disappear forever. With my child. But she underestimated one thing. Lila. My daughter noticed the strange behavior. The rushed packing, the nervous sweating, the way Celeste kept saying,
You're going somewhere far, where your mother will never find you.
At the airport security line, Lila slipped away, walked straight up to a police officer, and said something that would save her life.
Sir, I think my grandmother is taking me somewhere very far, and my mommy doesn't know.
The officer immediately became suspicious. He checked their boarding passes. One-way international flight, no return. Then he searched the luggage and found stacks of cash, thousands upon thousands. He arrested Celeste on the spot. When I saw my daughter again, I collapsed into tears. You saved yourself, baby. You were so brave. Lila whispered.
I remembered what you taught me. If something feels wrong, tell a safe adult.
The court trial was brutal. Celeste showed no remorse. She actually shouted at the judge.
I deserved a child. She stole everything from me.
The judge's face hardened.
You kidnapped a minor, abused her, and attempted international flight to avoid prosecution.
Then came the sentence.
Maximum penalty, no leniency.
She was taken away screaming. But the story didn't end there, because prison had its own justice. Later, I heard from a guard who knew our case. He told me what happened on her first night. An inmate looked at her and laughed.
So you tried stealing someone else's child because nobody wanted to give you one?
Another inmate sneered.
Don't worry, in here, nobody wants you either.
Celeste shouted angrily.
I'm not like you criminals.
A guard slammed the cell door.
Lady, you kidnapped a child. That makes you worse.
The inmates laughed as she broke down crying. For the first time in her life, she was powerless, forgotten, and alone. All the stolen money was recovered. The house sale was reversed. And I rebuilt my life with Lila. Years later, when my daughter asked about Celeste, I simply said, some people let their pain turn them into monsters, but you chose to be brave instead. She smiled and hugged me tightly. And honestly, that hug felt like the final victory, because revenge isn't always about destroying someone. Sometimes, it's about surviving them and living happily anyway. So yeah, that's the story of how my evil stepmother tried to steal my kid, flee the country, and ended up getting humbled by a 6-year-old and a bunch of prison inmates. Moral of the story, never underestimate a smart child, and never try to outrun karma. Because karma travels faster than airport security. Anyway, if you enjoyed this wild ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because trust me, my life has enough drama for at least 5 more seasons.